welcome back to We Be Kids again. It's springtime and all around the world different people are celebrating in different ways. One of the celebrations that we have here in the UK is Easter, and one animal which is synonymous with Easter is the rabbit. We see it everywhere at this time of year, and we all know the rabbit. It has whiskers on its face, it has a little bobbly tail at the back, strong legs, and it also has long ears. But it hasn't always been that way. And I'm going to share a little story with you, which is from the tribes of Native America, and it is called How the Rabbit Got Its Long Ears. Now, as the story suggests, there was a time in the long distant past when rabbits had short ears, little ones, just like little mice. And the rabbit used to hop around just like it does today. And on this day, this little rabbit was feeling very, very, very bored. It needed something to spice up the day, to give it some excitement. So it decided that it would play a trick on all of the other creatures. It thought and thought and thought about what it could do. And then it came up with an idea. And it hopped off looking to find some other creatures. And then it stumbled upon the beaver. And it said, "Beaver, beaver, have you heard the terrible news?" And the beaver said, No, what's the news?" And the rabbit said, "Today is going to be the last day of sunshine. After today, the sun will never rise again." Now the beaver was shocked with this. No sunrise, no daytime, just a world of always darkness. So the beaver said, "I have no time to waste," and off it went, busying itself, getting its dam ready. And as the beaver went off, on the shore it bumped into the deer having a drink. And the beaver said to the deer, "Have you heard? Today is the last day of sunshine. Tomorrow the sun won't rise." And the deer was shocked. And the deer scurried off into the woods and it bumped into the badger. And he said, "Have you heard? Today is the last day of sunshine. After today, the sun will never rise again." And the badger was shocked and worried, and it ran off. And it bumped into the wolf. And the wolf bumped into the bear, and the bear bumped into the squirrel. And in no time at all, the story that the sun would not rise tomorrow was spread across the whole of the forest. All the animals were extremely busy, collecting food, digging dens, building dams, making nests. They all knew that they had so much work to do in this last day if they were to survive. And they were busy all the way through the afternoon. From the edge of the forest, the rabbit was sat watching and chuckling away to itself at what it had done. But then, from over a hillside came the great spirit Cluskap. Now, Cluskap was the spirit who was responsible for creating the lands and creating all of the animals. And normally when Cluskap came into the forest, all the animals would stop and take time to listen to Cluskap's stories and to share their own. But on this day, nobody even noticed Cluskap. They were all so busy collecting and making and foraging. And Cluskap looked around, went over to the deer and said, "Deer, what is going on? Why is everybody so busy, and why hasn't anybody stopped to hear my stories?" And the deer said, "Well, haven't you heard? After today, the sun will not rise again. We must get ready." And Cluskap said to deer, "Who did you hear this from?" And deer said, "I heard it from the beaver." So Cluskap went over and found the beaver and said to the beaver, "Where did you hear this from?" And the beaver said, "I heard it from the rabbit." And Cluskap went searching for the rabbit, and the rabbit had seen this happening, and it had hidden itself down in a bush on the edge of the forest, afraid to come out. And Cluskap looked and looked and looked. And he looked everywhere until there was only this one bush left. Cluskap walked over and said, "Young rabbit, come out from the bush." And the rabbit was too afraid. It held onto a giant rock. Cluskap said, "Young rabbit, come out of that bush or else I will have to come in and get you." But the rabbit held on. So Cluskap took his big arm and he put it into the bush and felt around. And he put his other arm in and felt around until it found 2 ears. With that he tried to pull Rabbit out, but as he pulled, Rabbit held on tightly. And he pulled, and Rabbit held on tightly, but as Cluskap was pulling, Rabbit's ears began to stretch and stretch and stretch until Cluskap could reach in with one hand and plucked Rabbit straight out of the bush. And that is why rabbits have long ears. So a fun little story all the way from the lands of North America about why the rabbit has long ears. So now you know. Tell your friends, next time you look at a rabbit, try and imagine it with little mouse ears. See what you think. So I hope you enjoyed that story. Thanks for stopping by at Weeby Kids, and we'll see you again sometime soon. Bye!